Hi, my name is Flynn, and I have cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a disorder that affects movement, muscle tone, or posture. It happens because of abnormal brain development, a lot of times before birth. The exact cause to most children is still unknown, but babies can have a higher chance if they are born too small, are born too early, are born a twin or multiple births, are conceived by in vitro or other assistive technologies, have birth complications, have brain damage from severe untreated jaundice, or have a mommy with an infection. Sometimes it can be caused by brain damage after birth, like having meningitis or another brain infection or suffering a serious head injury. Cerebral palsy, or CP, is usually diagnosed in the first or second year after birth. It is the most common motor disability in childhood, affecting 2 to 3 in 1,000. CP affects every person differently. Some early signs of CP are if a child feels floppy, feels stiff, legs get crossed, stiff or scissor when picked up, has difficulty bringing hands together or to mouth, crawls lopsided, or scoots around on their butt or knees. There are 4 main types of cerebral palsy. Spastic CP is the most common, affecting 80% of people with CP. People with spastic cerebral palsy have increased muscle tone, which means muscles get tight and movements can be awkward. Different body parts are affected. Spastic diplegia cerebral palsy means stiffness mainly in the legs, with the arms less affected. Spastic hemiplegia cerebral palsy affects only one side of the body. Usually the arms are more affected. Spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy is the most severe form, and it affects all the limbs, trunk, and face. Often, people with spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy cannot walk. They can have intellectual disabilities, problems with vision, hearing, and speech. Dyskinetic cerebral palsy includes athetoid, chorioathetoid, and dystonic CPs, means people have trouble controlling movements in their hands, arms, feet, and legs. This makes it hard to sit and walk. Sometimes the face and tongue are affected, and the person can have a hard time sucking, eating, and talking. Muscle tone can change throughout the day and be either too tight or too loose. Ataxic cerebral palsy is when there is trouble with balance and coordination. Walking, writing, and reaching can be difficult. Mixed cerebral palsy is a mixture of more than one type. The most common is spastic dyskinetic. Cerebral palsy is a condition, not a disease, so it is not contagious. There is no cure for cerebral palsy, but it does not get worse over time. Getting help early is important. The sooner the treatment can start, the sooner the person can live their life to their full potential. There are medicines, orthotics, surgeries, and physical, occupational, and speech therapies. People with cerebral palsy often have other conditions. These can include respiratory difficulties, digestive issues, vision or hearing impairment, epilepsy or seizures, learning difficulties, intellectual difficulties, speech impairment, and perceptual difficulties. Cerebral palsy is not hereditary or life-threatening, but life expectancy can vary because of the severity of the cerebral palsy or the other conditions the person might have. Depending on the severity and treatment, People with cerebral palsy can enjoy a life to the extent their bodies will let them. People with cerebral palsy can have satisfying careers, education, and social life, and even become parents. Just remember to talk to your doctor if you have any questions or want a diagnosis. For me, I was diagnosed a little after I turned 1. My mommy saw I wasn't doing things most kids my age were doing. I cannot sit, stand, or walk. I was diagnosed with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy. But my mommy thinks it may be spastic hemiplegia or even mixed spastic dyskinetic cerebral palsy. I see an occupational, developmental, and physical therapist. I will hopefully start speech therapy soon. I will also need to see a gastroenterologist or tummy doctor and an otolaryngologist or ear, nose, and throat doctor to help me with my other issues. I wear these cool boots to help my feet. I also wear braces on my hands, and I use a stander at home to help me get practice being on my feet. I have made great progress, and I continue to work hard and make everyone proud. Now you know a little bit about someone else's life. Hopefully, with this information, you can be understanding and kind to people that are different from you. Thank you for listening.